Longhorns get the win. Survive in advanced style. 16-13 in overtime in Lexington. Longhorns get the record to 5-2. Jason Sukamel and Chad Hastings at TCH Social Austin here at 183 in Anderson Mill. Thanks for coming out. If you were here for the watch party, Jeff Ketchum, of course, joining us, and Anwar Richardson will join us from Lexington. We'll collect those super chats and get right to them. Goodness, gentlemen, where do we start with this one? Ketch, you want to get us started here?
Well, I think that this is a game where the post game really does come down to who makes the kick at the end and who loses, right? Because there's a Kentucky post game show going on right now where they're talking about losing 9 straight and they played really well and they got nothing to show for it. And you've got a Texas program that put together a 2014 era performance. It is one of the top 5 worst offensive performances. I mean, you got to go back to like some of those TCU games when Tyrone Swoops was a quarterback to really find the offense just couldn't do anything, but they won. And I feel like that is the most important thing. I wrote a lead for my post-game article, which I haven't posted yet, in the first half, where I had mentioned that Chad and I had talked about, this is going to be kind of what it's like to root for the old school Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day, kind of that old AFC North, first one to 16 points kind of wins. Texas fans aren't really conditioned, I think, to follow a team like that. But tonight it was kind of the worst of those old Ravens teams. It was like, oh, Joe Flacco just didn't do anything. And then they won 16-13. I don't know. Like, I want to hesitate. This post-game show will be 2 hours of the most negative discussion of all time if we're not careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad. So I do want to stress that Texas is 5-2. Winning on the road in the SEC is not easy.
Don't say that, Ketch.
No, I'm watching Missouri lose to Auburn right now, and that's a top 10 Missouri.
Catch, I said it to Jason as they went to overtime. It is a silly thing to say, but the result does matter at that point. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy, like you said, negative post game, but they did get the win. They got out of it.
As good as Ole Miss has looked at times this season, look, and I thought tonight would be ugly. I was not anybody who I had a 2017-13 game was how I called it beforehand. But I thought it would be 20-13 going to the fourth quarter. I thought Texas would get the ultimate separation late. They weren't even nearly that good. But I wasn't expecting tonight to be good. I expected that we would be rumbling a little bit when the postgame show started. What I didn't anticipate was that Texas – it's funny, I watched the end of Godfather 2 today. I'm doing a Diane Keaton top 10 list. And I had to watch the scene where Diane Keaton tells Michael Corleone that she had an abortion.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler
alert.
And she's like, it was an abortion, Michael. It was a son. And I had him killed because all of this has to end. It's how I felt about that Texas offense today. It was like, It was an abortion. It all had to end one way or the other. This is Steve Sarkisian's son. This is his offense. And he's been treated with kid gloves, Jason, all season long. No one's dared ask him about, should you hire an offensive coordinator? No one's really dared to push him on, what the fuck were you thinking in the offseason exactly with the personnel decisions of not boosting this offense? What made you think that this thing was good in the spring? What were you seeing? No one. I feel like the media, by and large, and I don't mean Anwar, and I don't mean Kirk Bowles, and I don't mean a few others, but I feel like the media, by and large, is just scared of Sark. When he says something 3 weeks ago about injuries, like people just stop asking about injuries. It's like, well, you got to do your job. Like, you have to ask. And so I don't know what the postgame will look like with Sark. We'll hear from Anwar. I'm interested. But this was, they won. But this was one of the worst performances of the Steve Sarkisian era. Offensively, it's just bad, just awful. In fact, given the expectations of this team, don't compare this to anything that happened in 2021 or 2022. This team's supposed to be competing for a national championship. And it was wretched. They had 2 first downs in the second half.
Oh, my God. I couldn't believe, Catch, when the number popped up 22-7. That's a stat I had not been following. Jason was keeping the stats, and we were watching. I'd never asked him first downs, and I saw
26-8 was the final.
26-8 is how it finished. That's unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
It is it's just not good enough. But it was enough to get a win. But, I think there's a reality reset on this team, Jason, with regards to, week to week. If anybody needed a reminder that every game on the road is dicey, every game with this team might be dicey, this, I think, will be the season-long reminder, right? This will be like the Remember the Alamo. Every time, next week when they play Mississippi State, there will be a whole lot of hey, don't get too cocky. Remember Florida. Remember Kentucky. This team really does suck on the road.
Oh, yeah, it was not good. All right, we've got some super chats in, and I believe there was a $100 super chat. Why don't we start there with a Big Bull $100 super chat? Thank you, Big Bull. FFS.
Can we just say it for fuck's sakes?
There we go.
Yeah, you can.
Chad Kenny Rogers, love will turn you around from the Six Pack soundtrack. This game made me tap in the 30 rack I bought yesterday. Tap in the 30 rack I bought yesterday. Okay.
I think that might mean he's trying to tap a 30-year-old.
Does he mean? Oh, okay.
It made me tap in the 30 rack. I don't know.
Did he mean to type
Kentucky
30 pack, like a 30 pack of beer?
That's
Chad, here's what I do know.
I'm a beer guy.
Kentucky should have won the game tonight. They were better than Texas.
Dude, look at the total yardage. It was 395, almost 400 to 179.
Yeah.
You said 26-8. Kentucky put the ball on the turf, 5 times? Texas didn't get any of them.
That was crazy. 4 fumbles and a muff punt, and you don't get any. You know what this was, Catch? Remember when Kirby Smart stood on the field after they beat Tennessee and said Tennessee deserved to win? Sark needed to do the same thing tonight, and he needs to do the same thing to the media. He needs to say in a very clear voice, Kentucky deserved to win this game. We escaped. We got out of here. We made plays and did it, but they deserved to win. They played better.
I'm glad you said that because you haven't seen my postgame write-up, and I said that my kind of lead was Sark needs to come in. I don't want to hear this bullshit. Oh, night games in the SEC are tough, and we're just glad to get a win. But no, he needs to be pissed off in that postgame session.
Yep.
He needs to demand better execution and better play from his offense as a whole. And he needs to say, if it doesn't start, all jobs are on the table. From quarterback to offensive line, everybody, your jobs are on the line. If it doesn't change first quarter of next week or maybe even in practice of this week, I don't want to hear this, hey, we're glad we got the win. I told you, tough environment. I'm glad we fought. We hung in there through some adversity. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Call your team out. It might not matter. But maybe it lights a fire under their ass. I don't know. But you need to take this team offensively needs some accountability in its time. Changes need to be made. I don't care if that's Arch Manning. I don't care if that's along the offensive line or get those young receivers in. Across the board. If you don't get your shit together, guys, you're going to be on the bench.
Yeah, don't talk about 130 teams going to Lexington. Don't do that this week. Don't do all that stuff. Big Bull, thank you for getting us started with a big super chat. We appreciate you. Here's another big one. Michael with a $50 super chat asking about young receivers. Where is French? Where is Lockett? We got asked that question at the watch party while the game was going on. And hey, if they haven't been there through 6 games, you're not going to be brought out in a 7th game on the road.
Well, let me say this, and I get it, and that was a conversation you said we had at the watch party. But it wasn't that the receivers played poorly. I mean, Arch missed 5 or 6 wide open throws, right? So, coaches by nature aren't risk takers. They're going to play their veterans unless those guys are just god awful. So, I get it. Michael, I'm not against it. Let's get those young 5-stars on the field and see what they can do. But is Arch going to be able to find them? If they're running wide open and run a crossing route and they got a defender 4 yards away from them, I mean, I don't know. It matters who's out there at receiver if Arch doesn't play better.
Yeah, that's true. Michael, thank you for that. We've got
real quick. The elephant in the room is like Steve Sarkisian. I'm sorry, that was incompetence today on the offensive side of the ball. Absolute. I at one point thought out loud to myself, Chad, remember last week and I had the really bad metaphor about not being able to catch interceptions?
Yep.
I might have surpassed it today. You could have had a Make-A-Wish kid call plays tonight.
Here we go.
And the offense could not have been worse if like an 8-year-old had just been like, I want to call plays in a college football. I want to do Jerry Jones for the Dallas Cowboys. Can you do that? And they were like, yeah, Timmy, you just call whatever you want to. And at the end of the game, if the offense had 13 points and not done anything, we shrug our shoulders and go, what are you going to do? I mean, we let a kid call the game. Steve Sarkisian, let me say this again. Going into the third quarter, it was like, gut check moment for this team. Like, come out, first drive of the second half, establish yourself, win this game. Then there was like 12 minutes to go in a game, and it's a tie game, and you're like, okay, gut check time for this Texas offense. They gained 2 first downs in the entire second half.
Crazy.
Against Kentucky. Now, here's the thing, and I feel Jason a little bit on the I'm like both ways, right? Texas hasn't won enough night games in the SEC for me to poo-poo them. But Jason and I do an Orange Bloods SEC power poll every week. And I'm telling you, I think every week all season, Kentucky's been in last place.
Yep.
They are, with all due respect to South Carolina, they are the worst team in the SEC. And today, they were coached better. They were quarterback better. They were offensively, they were so much better. Jason, what was the time of possession at the end?
Oh, gosh.
I hadn't even asked that one.
39-23.
Oh, my God.
20-37. They basically doubled them up.
A 39-21? Really?
3, yeah.
Oh.
Basically 40-20, essentially.
Twice as much
horrific.
yardage, 3 times as many first downs, twice as much possession. It was like Steve Sarkisian tonight needs to be the night that he's asked about, should you be the offensive coordinator? Are you doing too much? Because this season right now is being held hostage by the decisions that he made in the offseason. We've entered a new era in college football where you have the ability to shore up an assortment of sins if you choose to do so. We know Texas did so at the defensive tackle position. They signed 5. No offensive line, no running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, no playmakers, no speed. They just said, we're good. And this team, they're not making the playoffs. This team's not going to the playoffs. We'll see how long they can keep the dream alive.
Mm-hmm.
But this team that we watched tonight is not making the playoffs.
The question right now for me, Catch, is can they extend it to Athens?
No.
Because the question will be now, the game that's blinking in my head and should be blinking in everybody's head is Vandy.
Well,
after what you saw Vanderbilt do today, they're going to come to Austin on November 1st. Can Texas survive it and go to the bye week still alive?
They can, but
I wouldn't. Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like, can you dodge an entire clip of bullets? Maybe I can. I can make one miss. My big ass can fall down, but eventually, I'm going to get hit. And this Texas team almost got hit tonight. And I need to reiterate this point. Everything about tonight is Arch was awful. Like awful. Like Tyrone Swoop's 2014 awful. But this entire game is a Steve Sarkisian production from January through tonight, when again, he literally did not know what he was doing. He was just calling plays. There was they did some cute, interesting stuff early in the game, right? They threw that pass to Jordan Washington. You could see some wrinkles all the way down to the reverse pass that on 3rd and 3 was idiotic. And I'm convinced Sark just called it because it was next on the script. I think they worked on that script all week. It didn't matter. Hey, it's a stupid football team. I mean, they're stupid. This game doesn't go to overtime if DeAndre Moore, one of your only upperclassmen on the entire team that plays,
slide, duck.
I see kids in junior high these days have a full it's so cliche now to slide in bounds and to run the clock. I feel like 8-year-olds know don't score touchdowns, take a knee, let the clock. I do not know how you end up in that game situation. And one of your veterans it was just an idiotic decision. He was not thinking. But this team does not think. It commits penalties, 3 of them coming out of timeouts tonight. It goes into overtime, and it tries to eliminate what happens on the very first play. Brandon Baker just commits an egregious holding call.
Yep.
Suddenly, what's that?
Yeah. Well, I first thought I had an overtime catch. Once they make that stop is you don't need a yard. You don't need to gain a yard. He'll hit a 42-yard kick.
They didn't need a yard. I don't think they would have gained it.
And then you get the hold on the first play. Unreal.
Well, it's just this team is a reflection of its head coach in just a million different ways. And, short yardage, red zone. The only offensive touchdown in the night was a goddamn DJ Campbell recovered fumble. I'm telling you,
after the punt return
put on the field tonight is as bad of an offense as I've ever seen. I mean, maybe if we go back to the late 80s, I saw Baylor beat Texas 50-7 in person, and Texas threw 4 interceptions that day, and Robert Blackman returned 2 of them for touchdowns. You really have to find some really low moments, right? Arkansas in Charlie's first year in the bowl game.
Right.
Something like that. You have to literally think, what is the worst shit I've ever seen in my entire life? I don't know if tonight was it because they did take care of the football. But 2 first downs in the second half against Kentucky.
You got the ball to start the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky did have a 8.5-minute drive or something, but
yeah. Oh,
whatever.
man.
It was a shit show.
All right, let's grab some super chats here. Again, Anwar's going to check in from Lexington as soon as the media deal is over. Darian, 1999. OU game was clearly an anomaly. This offense is too painful to watch. We've talked about anomalies the last couple of weeks, hoping that the defensive anomaly of Florida was exactly that. And that's what it appeared last week. And now people are thinking maybe and let's also remember, Oklahoma's not a phenomenal team. We got a reminder of that last week. So I don't know that it was an anomaly. They beat a team by 17 that is not fantastic.
With a punt return touchdown. Said 1 touchdown scored in that game on offense. I came out of that game and I saw someone in the chat very early in the show. I predicted in my 3-2-1. I said, I'm buying in. I think this team got its swagger back. I think they're going to win the next 5, I said, and then we'll see what happens with the A&M game. But I thought Arch got some confidence, got the weight off his shoulders. I thought the defense got its mojo back. I thought the offense as a whole got its swagger, got the running game going. Excuse me. I said after tonight in my post-game write-up, forget it. It's time to reassess expectations. I also said coming into this game, it would tell us a lot. It would tell us if my thoughts that they got their swagger back was true, or if that was a one-off against Oklahoma. I feel pretty good about saying it was a one-off, Chad. This is a very average football team.
Are we back to no benefit of the doubt?
No benefit of the doubt. They're not winning their next 4 after this one. No way.
All right. How about a 50 spot? Thank you, Angry Hammer. Kentucky 100% deserved to win that game. 2, buy or sell. The last 2 years were an anomaly. Sark is reverting to his mean 7-win Sark. And then a buy or sell. This game should get someone fired. Who is on your GTFO?
Get the fuck out.
What GTFO is, Chad? Really? You're that old? I'm
Oh,
older than
that's
you.
a get the like a fire. Oh, that's the list. Okay, the GTFO. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'd sell on that second one. I don't know if it's a game that should get
you're
someone
not firing
fired.
someone
But
at this point, but at the end of the season, there need to be some changes. And I'm with Catch. I said, hey, and I've been a Sark. I won't say I've been a Sark homer. I'll be critical, and I think it's necessary. But I've always said, hey, I think he's still a brilliant offensive mind. And listen, I mean, the execution was as bad or worse than the play calling tonight. But it was when you combine both of them, it was just bad. But it's time to get an offensive coordinator.
yeah, it was bad. Angry Hammer, thank you for that. A lot of super chats rolling in. Let's clean some off here real quick. Joey with a little 2-spot. Sorry, why is that not coming up? There it is. Let me just stop hitting the button 500 times. Winning is hard. Thank you, Joey. We appreciate your $2 for that. ATX Bates, offense forgot to get on the plane. Defense didn't lose it. Special teams won it. About as meh as those enchiladas. Sukamel is banned from TCH. There are those that believe that Sukamel showing up to TCH. That was
only missed
the bad
game.
luck.
I mean,
Hey man, thank God I ate the enchiladas yesterday.
You know what? That last bite might have been that field goal to make it 16-13. Let's make. Hey, try everything you can this week. Make sure you get.
We now officially know it has to be every week.
Got it. Yeah, exactly. Can't take any chances. $10 from Patrick. Delayed the inevitable. This offense is hot garbage. This is our Super Bowl game. Really, Sark?
Oh, is that what he said?
Wake me up when the 26th season starts if Texas breaks the bank in the portal. Wow, Patrick's already ready to say goodbye to the season. Very drastic. $5 from Jay. I just don't understand how younger quarterbacks all across the country, most on less talented teams, are able to have higher floors than our quarterbacks year after year. Because, see, that's the other thing, fellas. As much as we talked about Sark, and he deserves it, boy, Arch was not good in this game. There was some regression there, different kinds of misses, but there are misses in this game that are hard to explain. I mean, crossing routes to Wingo and one to Moore that pops into my head, and then just throws that just don't look good. I mean, it's not good quarterback play. Jay, that's part of it too. The Sark development part.
We got a 50 spot all the way down if you go scroll down from West.
Yeah, it's to mention. But Jay, thank you for that. All right, so right here, yeah, there we go. It's our guy Wes. What's up, Wes? 49.99. Quote: "We beat Oklahoma by running the ball. Let's stop doing that." The
Fair, Wes.
Yeah,
And I said, like, late in the first half, Texas had 3 carries by its running backs. Okay. But they weren't running the ball well either. Even in the second half, they come out and they try to run the ball, in that first drive, and they go 3 and out. So I agree. I think they should have ran the ball earlier and tried to get Wisner more involved, but they didn't run the ball worth a shit when they tried either.
I just couldn't believe. Yeah, couldn't believe there wasn't a more concerted effort to run the ball against this type of a team. The defense wasn't great.
I don't remember what their rush defense. Well, the rush and pass defense was statistically pretty bad.
85th run defense, I think.
That,
it was
like
bad.
100 and something pass defense.
Yeah, it was bad. Of the 6 major stats I look at every week, they were 100 or worse in 4 of the 6. Offense and defense. Like, you gotta go after this team. $20 from Angry Hammer. Dear Adam Lowy, I'm ready for my serving of crow. Petrino is a better OC than Sark. The 2 performances tonight showed it. Oh, Lord. Drinking the cheap stuff tonight, boys. This game doesn't deserve the Blantons. Angry Hammer.
Angry Hammer, where you at, dude? I'll stop on my way home.
Angry Hammer's firing off $20 super chats on cheap alcohol tonight. Look out. Look out.
Chad, when Adam made that post on Orange Bloods, or maybe he tweeted it and someone
I didn't see it on Orange Bloods, but yeah.
Oh, do you remember it?
No, it must have been on Twitter. I probably missed it.
It was years ago.
Today.
That's a throwback to a couple of years ago. I think. When did he go to A&M, Chad?
Oh God, it was the beginning of the 2021, 2021, 22, somewhere in there.
That's a dated reference, but it's hilarious.
It was like the last year-ish of Jimbo, around 21, 22, I think, somewhere in there. That's funny that he went back that far. All right, let's go.
That was a deep cut, is what that was.
That's a deep cut. Barb's 10, 1999. I felt dirty after watching that game. I need a shower. Thanks for the trauma bonding, Chad and Sukamel at TCH watch party. Barb's 10, always great to see you. I don't think you're the only one that feels like maybe a shower is warranted. Here comes another one. Angry Hammer on cheap whiskey. $20. Jason, Sark already said, quote, half the league lost tonight. So he beat you to the tough to win the SEC at night comment. I just don't get his mindset when he says something like this. You can't show up. Okay, if he literally shows up when they play 8 conference games, it's the only week all season where it's 8 SEC games. Fellas, if he shows up and says, well, 8 teams lost in the SEC today.
You played the worst team, went to
Come
overtime, and were lucky to win it. Let's be honest. They were lucky. I'm a Sark guy. I have been before he was hired. I'm the guy that said that's who they should hire. I have been a Sark guy, but no, that's not the answer I want to hear right now.
Catch, that is a comment unbecoming. The Texas head coach can't say stuff like that if he indeed did. You cannot do that. Why would he keep doing that? I don't get it.
Well, because he never is pushed on anything. Like, I guarantee you no one pushed him after he said that.
Yeah.
No one said, Sark, really? Like that doesn't cut it in Dallas, but
yeah,
this is what it is. And I'll tell you what'll happen on Monday. Texas fans will want the media to be. It's funny.
They'll want tough
this
now.
Week,
there was a
Mino Anwar was asking Arch about some article calling him terrible, right? This week, if Anwar doesn't go to Arch's face and say, you suck, everybody on Orange Bloods will be like, Anwar's a pussy. I mean,
there was a thread mid-game saying, here are the questions on Orange Bloods, of course.
Yep.
Here are the questions I want to ask in the post-game press conference.
Right.
It's all like, go at him with daggers.
You'll see it on Monday. Yep. None of it will get asked. And, like Sark just lives it. And here's what I don't think Sark understands. He was really close tonight, I think, to losing a sizable portion of the Texas fan base.
Man.
This is a school that fired John Malkovich the year after one of the great wins in the history of the program. Like, they won the Big 12.
Yeah.
James Brown got hurt. They went 4-7. He lost his job, and it was gone by the end of September. I think the thing that Sark won't realize is, for better or worse, the Texas fans are not like Penn State fans. They will not sit around for 10 years because they're nice, waiting for the we saw Penn State finally turn the corner and say, enough's enough. Texas, man, Sark lives year to year. And the only for a bunch of goodwill to go out the window is to have a shitty season. One. And it just changes everything. And they lose tonight. The season's over. They were so close to Orange Bloods. Orange Bloods already sucks tonight. I wouldn't be on Orange Bloods tonight. Everybody's drunk and mad.
Yep.
Come back tomorrow at noon, and everything will start to chill out a little bit. If it had been a loss, I just would have just stayed up till like 4:00. And by noon tomorrow, most people will sober up and the tone will change. And people will be like, y'all were so mean last night. I'm so embarrassed to be in Orange Bloods. As if nobody can figure out it's 10:30 at night and everybody's drunk and angry. And Texas does not have super fans. Like, they're fans. And fans is short for fanatic. I say it all the time. And I think what Sark doesn't realize is, if he doesn't do what Jason said to do, which is kind of fall on the sword a little bit and announce this isn't good enough, Texas fans will resent being gaslit. And
oh, yeah,
all of the coaches that were hated the most in Texas history were guys that gaslit the program and the fans. There's a long history of it. And Texas fans remember just weird shit, right? John Malkovich loses to Rice. What does he say after the game? Well, you liked it when we won. You got to take some of this as well. You got to take the good with the bad. When he got fired, people were ready to stick him with a knife for that comment that had been made 3 years prior. So, like, I don't think Sark grasped, and I think Sark's got a bunch of yes men surrounding him in the program. Otherwise, this disaster in the portal on the offensive side of the ball doesn't happen. Because I was screaming from the rafters to do more. And,
Yeah.
and I'm not as smart as everybody is in the program. They have some really smart and capable people that they allowed. This is a Steve Sarkisian created problem. There's no speed on offense. They can't run the ball. The offensive line's not good enough. Arch doesn't have enough weapons. It is one thing after another, and it's all on Sark. It's his baby. There is no offensive coordinator. It's him. There is no general manager that makes decisions for the program. Sark is the general manager. He asked his coaches, what should we do? I heard his general manager said we should go to the portal. What I heard is that he said, I'm going to listen to my position coaches. And what do? They didn't go after the offensive line. They ignored running back. They thought they were mostly good at wide receiver. The offensive line, we don't need to relitigate. This is all his doing. So in a way, maybe I understand the denial, because to not be in denial means to take a very hard look at yourself, because this isn't one of these situations where he's not in control. He controls everything, which means everything that's going wrong is his fault. You don't get to fire Brandon Harris after the season's over and scapegoat him as the general manager. We all know that Brandon Harris didn't create this mess. And he sure as shit isn't responsible for Sark's offensive play calling, which, I don't know. I literally I tweeted before with about 5 minutes to go, maybe 8 minutes to go in a game. Texas probably not going to win this game unless the defense wins it for them.
Yeah.
And in the end, it was the punt return by Niblett. It took Ryan Niblett becoming a bigger Texas legend, the Devin Hester of the SEC.
Yeah.
Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons' best games of the season by a mile. I think Colin Simmons had 3 sacks tonight and was awesome. And it's the first time we've mentioned his name since we started. But it took everything on the offensive side was so bad. It literally took like a Herculean performance from some amazing players to make it happen. And I see, is that Onward? Do we got Onward?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. I thought maybe that was like stadium. That was just Card House. My bad.
I was about to say they're getting stuff done.
It's just, this is not going to be a fun week. But God, I say it. I just keep saying it. Thank God they won.
Yep.
Whatever we think about tonight, 5-2, so much better than 4-3. The season is over if they lose tonight. Ain't nobody wanting to watch Orange Bloods live videos. Nobody's on Orange Bloods. Nobody wants to sign up. 4-3 is the season is over and you're playing out the string. And for the next 6 weeks, Texas fans would be so angry and the vitriol would be so poisonous. And that's a long time. Then, I'm just, like I said, it's ugly. It was bad. But I have seen Texas lose these games, right? I've seen Texas score what you think is going to be the game time touchdown and then boink the extra point. I've seen Texas lose some shit before, and you're like, they found a way to win. They mostly didn't deserve it, but that feels harsh on Ryan Niblett and the Texas defense. But boy, it just got to get so much better. And honestly, what does it matter what Sark says? At the end of the season, all that matters is, did he learn some real lessons or not?
Yeah.
He is not going to throw himself under the bus. But when the season is over with, he probably needs to, because this won't get it done. His program is petering out if this is what it looks like. Because we're in year 5, he's never had a good quarterback. And Arch was terrible tonight.
Yeah.
And that's on Sark. He's the quarterback developer.
Yeah. And Jason, you talk about what he should say in terms of the anger there. I like your idea, though, of, man, even if you're kind of half-assing the comment, say every position is open. Say the words including quarterback. Light a fire under everybody, including the dude wearing 16. Because in moments where he is presented with what we all believe to be pretty easy situations, he failed in a couple of them. Like, put everybody on notice. Everybody. I would think there needs to be some urgency. Maybe he's not going to agree with us. By the way, y'all be patient with us on Super Chats. I'm staring at 34 of them right now. Thank you guys so much. ATX Bates, $4.99. Going to toss this hand grenade, then go hit Rogue Shop. Buy or sell. You take PK as head coach and move Sarks to OC. That's not really the process. I don't think that's no, Bates. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's go to Guy. Have a good night, Bates. Guy, you as well. $4.99. In addition to everything else, Wingo is overrated, according to Guy.
Who rates Ryan Wingo?
I was going to say who's rated at this point. Yeah. Plus, Livingston no catches in the game, right?
No catches. Technically, no targets. I thought I remember
That's
having one.
weird.
He had one that I think got called back for a penalty.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Because there's nothing in the box score.
I'm not hoping. I never want to hope someone is injured. I hope is he still dealing with the whole, the hit in the
I think he got hit in the
game?
I think he got knocked out in the first quarter.
Okay. All right. That's what yeah. Okay. Good.
It happened so early and I didn't think a whole lot of it. And then they took another shot to him later in the I thought that.
Okay. I just saw him late. We saw him late in the game talking to Arch on the sideline, and I was almost like, oh, yeah, Livingston. I just didn't feel his presence at all tonight. Just didn't feel his presence.
Didn't get anybody
at all. Yeah, no, right. Anybody. JC, other than Niblet, and the other team has to punt to him. $9.99. Anwar's almost ready to go as well. $9.99. JC Sark supposedly being an offensive genius. He did not win this game. PK and the defense won this game. Defense, obviously, special teams. And you needed that combo because the defense, held to set up the punt, and that got you the field position. That obviously Niblet took advantage of. All right, we will get to these super chats, but we obviously want to get to Anwar in Lexington, Kentucky. Let's bring him in here. There he is. Anwar, how are you, sir?
Doing fantastic. Can you hear me?
We got you. Let's start with Sark and the media. We've got a couple people in the chat, I think, shooting little quotes out there, but let's hear from you kind of how it played out. What was Sark's mindset after this close, crazy win?
Well, first of all, he starts off with my internet's going in and out, but just kind of let me know if it's good or not. I can't really tell. He started off by saying, like, a year you have a culture when a game is not pretty, you have to find a way to win. And he used this as an example of a culture win, of how they were able to, go play against a tough SEC opponent on the road and be able to pull things out, right? And so he starts off there. He also starts off talking about how good the special teams were, kind of how you guys talked about. But the thing that Sark did is the thing that I don't know what you guys have talked about, but Ketch will, know and appreciate. And I don't even say appreciate, but understand is the one thing Sark will never do is he's never going to apologize for an ugly win. And so he starts off with, in the second or third sentence, somewhere in there, he goes, half of the SEC lost today, and with that one, right? So that's Sark saying, like, I say, and I know where you guys are about to go, but wherever you go, I'm going to start and finish it with pointing to the scoreboard and pointing to we won, right? So then he starts talking about some of the things that frustrated him. He said, there was the self-inflicted wounds that's sometimes frustrating for him, the false starts in the fourth quarter, catching a pass going out of bounds, which I think Ketch had noted on X, and then he said him as a play caller, clearly he's not calling enough things, make guys feel comfortable, but he said the end of the day, go play great defense, great speed. Teams have advantages that the offense is not playing. So that's and that's okay. But the defense, as long as playing good on special teams, we not only is it Niblett, but Shipley, because he's obviously having a lot more to Shipley as well. He said at that point, they just need the offense shit with everything that they're doing. He was asked about Arch, and, he did, of course, say that Arch better, but he also says they need to play better up front for him. And when it gets too leaky, that affected him as well. But yes, could Arch have played better, make the passes that he should have been able to make? Like, absolutely. And he was asked directly, did you ever consider benching him? And he said did not. So you start talking about playing to the strength of his teams, and basically he's like, but their team strength right now is defense and special teams. And then right now he said, like, we just got to, again, he used this word a lot. He goes, we have to find a way to play efficient on offense. In other words, ways to get things done. Like, we're not a good offensive team. So he's recognizing that defense is a strength. He's recognizing that special teams is a strength, but he's acknowledging that the offense isn't playing good, Arch isn't playing good, and they just got to rely on the things that they're strong on, and they can find a way to grind out some wins that they can. He was asked more about Arch, and saying, like, hey, he said, like, he's a competitor. He sees the defense well, and so, like, of course he wants to play well as well to help them out, but he says he's just grinding it out at this point. He said we got to play better, we got to get it done. He was asked about the run game, and he said, their inability to create explosive runs showed up tonight rather. But one of the things he says is that they just got to get out of 3rd and long. It says when they get into that, they start losing the rhythm of the game. So they need to find a way to be more consistent with the run game. One of the things he said, someone asked, I forget what the specific question was. But he went into if they had taken advantage of the fumbles that occurred, all the times that Kentucky put the ball on the ground, he said he still kind of was mystified that they were never able to, take advantage of the punt returns that got on the ground, or the other ones where they're kicking the ball around. He's like, I just don't know how we don't recover that. He's like, if we recover those things, things might be a little bit different. But as he goes through that, and he had some questions, obviously all the questions about what went wrong, couple things about what went right. As he gets up and he leaves the table, he bangs on it and says, feels good to be 2-1 in the SEC, and walks out the room.
Hey, feels good to be 2-1. How about 3-0, dude? Like, no, you shouldn't be proud of being 2-1. I mean, come on.
Wow.
So he started how he ended, which was essentially scoreboard, we won. And that's at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. But he bangs the table as he walks out and says, feels good to be 2-1 in the SEC.
Wow.
Do we own this equipment, or is this TCH's?
This is TCH's equipment.
So I can't break it
You cannot.
out of frustration.
No, don't do that. Don't break that out of frustration.
Onward. It sounds like a lot was asked in the postgame. Arch, lots of questions. Run game, lots of questions. Sloppiness, lots of questions. Anybody ask Sark about himself? I mean, ultimately, I mentioned it earlier. I feel like you could have pulled a kid out of the stands and let him call plays.
That's not what you said.
I did. I just had more added to it.
Yeah, it was a little more.
It was a lot more cringy than that.
Yeah.
Did it happen? Like, I mean, this is his mess. Did anybody say, Sark, what were you doing? What were you trying? Did you feel any? I don't know. Like, it wasn't directed at Sark?
No, nothing specific towards him or play calling per se. I think he did acknowledge that he needs to do better as a play caller. So he says he's got to figure out what to call. Because he says clearly he's not calling things that make guys feel comfortable. So, he did say that portion of it. But was there a specific, like, hey, why did you do this or do that kind of thing? No, but there was an acknowledgement on his part that he needs to do better.
like hire somebody to do better, or
We're 7 games in? I mean, when is it going to start? I mean, good.
I mean, y'all can show up on Monday and ask. I mean, feel free. I'll tell you exactly where to go, what floor to be. But don't take your frustrations out on me.
I'm just asking.
I'm joking, obviously, right? But so that was kind of the essentials. There was about a 10 minutes.
He understands, or do you think he's buying his own bullshit right now?
I mean, he has to know, right? He has to know. He has to know.
He knew with the offense in the spring.
I mean, the thing is but here's the deal. It wasn't like he was calling a lot for Arch to, they didn't push the ball downfield today. That's not something that they did, right? So I think there's an acknowledgement of that this offense is limited, and I'm just going to try to see what we can get limited plays. The problem is, I think the challenge is, Catch, it's somewhat twofold. And this is what happens with coaches. It's easy to look, and they always go back to that word execute. Well, they didn't execute the play. They didn't execute the play. And it's easy to look as you're a coach. You're like, well, look, Arch, my guy was open. All Arch has to do is complete this pass, and he doesn't complete it, right? Or all this guy has to do is not freaking get blown up, and protect my guy. That's the other thing he said, like, Arch is taking too many hits, and so I think that's the challenge, Catch, is that it's easy to look at certain things, and it's like you'll see whatever it is that you're looking for. And if you're looking to see, well, when I look at the film, am I looking for guys who are not executing? Sure. And then you can say, if we just clean that up, we'll be better. But to Jason's point, it goes after what I say. You're 7 games in, ain't but 5 left. There's not going to be a whole lot of improvement. Absent, I mean, if we're being real, absent of maybe 2 quarters against Oklahoma, and if I take away Sam Houston State, this offense has been bad all year long. Its offense hasn't been special all year long. So I think he's got to know that this thing isn't. But I think he's content, Catch, to say, well, at the end of the day, if my defense is what I got, then so be it. Then that's all I got. And they're just going to be like the Ravens when they had Trent Dilfer as a quarterback. Let's just get through it. Let's just get through it. Let's just have our defense do it, because it is what it is. Our offense, that's what you keep saying, efficient. Let's just be efficient with the offense. Let's just try to move the ball a little bit, score a little bit. And it's a different tune than we've heard him say before. But I think he understands that this offense just isn't good.
I tell you what,
it's his fault.
Now that part, no. No,
Yeah.
I don't believe that's a revelation at all.
I know one thing I didn't remember hearing guys in 2020 was like, hey, what if Texas got Steve Sarkisian? Have you seen that Alabama offense? Whew, they are efficient. I don't remember that at all. The fact, Anwar, that you said he went back to that word multiple times is weird to me. And the thing I said to Jason as we were watching the game tonight, if they keep asking this defense to do this over and over and over, it is not going to work.
It may not work maybe one other time this year. You can do that against Kentucky, maybe South Carolina or Mississippi State, excuse me.
Maybe you get away with it with Arkansas because you're at home. You going to try?
Arkansas looked pretty damn good today, racing up and down the field.
And the thing,
having a lot of games this year.
The thing I keep thinking of, Anwar, is the points being scored. Look around the SEC today. That Vandy LSU game, points. The Georgia Ole Miss game, points. A&M survived Fayetteville, but they needed 43 to get out, and they got 45 to do it. They're scoring points all over this conference. Asking this Texas defense to keep these kind of games up, that's a fool's errand to me, Anwar. I don't know if they can get away with it.
Two things. One, I looked it up. He used the word efficient 7 times in the postgame. So thank you, Otter, for helping me out. So he used it 7 times. So just
7 times. Okay.
So we're clear. He did admit that the defense, out there, they're gonna have problems. That's what it was. Someone asked him about the tackling, and he felt like if that was where it went. He feels like if the tackling was better, Could they maybe have put this game away a little bit earlier? And then they was like, no, it was. Listen, it wasn't mine. And so anyway, that's where he went to like, yeah, but if we keep putting them out on the field, you're like that's a problem, right? Or that's going to be a problem. So I don't know. I'd rather just hear what Ketch is saying than
Texas scored one touchdown in this game on a 3-play, 5-yard drive.
Yeah.
That's effing ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how. Right.
I mean, this team should be embarrassed. Sark should be pissed and embarrassed, and he should be pissed at his team. I mean, it's time to call these dudes out, man.
But the thing is,
calling them out.
Jason, herein lies the problem. Because when he walks out of here and he goes away with a victory, it's easy to say, whew, SEC, this league is really, really tough. Hey, did you know that Kentucky, man, they gave Ole Miss all they can handle just a few weeks ago? Man, this is a tough league. But hey, man.
Yeah, but Ole Miss probably looked like a decent football team. Texas looked like a middle school team offense out there today.
I think that context is everything, because there's a world out there where I 1000% agree with the assessment, right? If Texas is played good football all season long, and then today it was just one of those days that Mama always said would happen, I'd be much more down with, hey, you got to win one of these. If you're going to win a championship, there's always a game like this that you kind of, steal victory from the jaws of defeat kind of a thing. But this team has sucked this season. They're not good. They haven't been good. They were good for 2 quarters last week. And the thing is, Sark is pissing down the legs of Texas fans and telling them that it's raining, because Texas fans aren't watching this offense through the prism of the last 60 minutes and overtime. They're watching it through the prism of 7 games now. I mean, Jason said it. 7 games. This is who they are.
Yeah, and you got to have better games on the front side of a comment like that, to me, Catch. The other thing is, if he's right, from what Anwar said about that culture game, I'll let Sark say this is a culture game, and it's one of those games you got to survive on one condition. They bludgeon Mississippi State. I mean, they smashed that team.
The culture thing is their culture stupid football? Because that's on Sark, right? Like,
no, I got you. But I'm saying
his guys, a guy he recruited from California. It also sounds like to me, Sark's got a lot more criticism for the players than he does for himself. I get that he said I need to do a better job, but I did not walk away from the goddamn game tonight thinking to myself, do you know what the defense needed to do better? Tackle. Like, they are the reason why they won the game. The goal line stand. Look, they don't pull that off, they lose this game.
Yep.
They're not scoring a touchdown. They could have played this game till 1:00 in the morning. Texas was never going to score a touchdown on offense. It was getting worse because Kentucky was like, oh, shit, man. There ain't no reason to respect Trey Wisner or any of these dudes in the backfield. All these receivers, if they get open, they like Arch is going to hit. They just, at the end, Kentucky had Texas's number. Mike Stoops and the Stoops brothers had Sark in their back pocket. And I'm sorry. Like, Sark has done so much, right? I mean, this isn't about what he did last year or the year before or his recruiting or any of the other stuff, right? He has all of those things on his resume that really, really matter. But this season, he's doing an F job. This team gets an F. They were dominated by Kentucky tonight. Let's say it again. Twice as many yards, 3 times as many first downs, almost twice as much time of possession. The quarterback play, some dude that most Texas fans will never even have heard of, had a pass efficiency rating 40 points higher than Arch Manning. There's like Sarkisian's DNA all over this. And I don't know, man. It rubs me the wrong way that he's not ever taking ownership for all of this is on him. Arch, the O-line, the play calling, the not having speed, the everything. It's all on Sark. And if he's not careful, eventually he's going to get asked that question and he's going to give the wrong answer. And Texas fans will never forget it. They'll never forget it. It's really important to be a Texas head coach and to be able to read the room. It matters. And I know Sark kind of threw it in everybody's face the past couple of years because there was so much doubt, and then he overcame it. So I get why he's maybe even cocky. But, man, 7 games in, they should rightfully be 4-3, and the season should be over. And if they had lost tonight and Sark had said any of that shit, he'd have lost a lot of people. And, it's crazy to think about, but it's crazy to think that 3 weeks ago, James, if you told James Franklin as the Oregon game's going into overtime, this thing could just go south and you could lose your job in 2 weeks. Like, that won't happen to Sark, but it can turn on a head coach in this era. And look, I'll say this. When this season's over with, if he doesn't hire an offensive coordinator, I think he's coaching for his job next year. It'll be Arch's last year. If the offense and Arch doesn't turn it around, the amount of pressure that he'll feel on a weekly basis will, I think, be debilitating for the program. It will not be fun. He has to really take some very careful, meticulous decision-making going into this offseason, because I think the Texas fan base is going to let him have a mulligan. They're going to give him 2. And they will go into this offseason knowing all that shit was his fault. All of it. All of it. Not Kyle Flood, not Jeff Banks, not A.J. Milwee, Steve Sarkisian. And, that his offense got 2 first downs in the second half, and Sark didn't show up and just go, this is on me. I have to have the team better prepared. Yeah. I didn't do a good enough job as a play caller. My team did stupid things. DeAndre Moore has to know to stay in bounds, and that means I have to tell him. If he didn't know it, the coaches didn't convey it, and that ultimately the buck stops with me. That's who Steve Sarkisian needed to be tonight. He needed to be, guys, all of it's my fault. Instead, he's like, we just fallen on one of the fumbles. No, dude, the offense was Tyrone Swoop's 2014 bad. Stop saying that the defense could have made one more play. It's just.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into these super chats. I'm looking at 35 of them here. Let's see if we can hack away at some of these a little bit here. $2 from Brandon. Eastern Michigan scored 23 against Kentucky. Sark sucks. Okay, not a fan there. Mr. Reyna, $1.99. Sark needs an OC. Play calling been so bad. Certainly not the only one we've seen like that tonight. Guy with a $9.99. This offense has a motivation problem. Not much effort at all. Wingo, top of the list.
Get that. I mean,
I don't know if I'd single Wingo
Arch
out.
missed Wingo a couple times. Arch missed everybody seemingly a couple times. But
I didn't have a real problem with Wingo tonight.
Yeah, that's not. I was gonna say number one. Wouldn't be the biggest issue I had.
Wait, I want to hear Chad read this user's name.
This one?
Yep.
Finger Blaster 79, $5. How are you? Sark's QB, Sark's handpicked roster, Sark's offense, Sark's fault, overrated. FB 79, thank you for jumping in the super chat. Jody's got a 10 spot for us. Peter Gardere and Phil Brown look like the run and shoot compared to this.
Damn.
Oh, that's an old joke. Okay, fair enough.
Hey, Ottawa, you missed it. I got to tell you this because you're going to laugh your ass off. Was it the first super chat of the night? Was it $100 or $50 at Angry Hammer? He was like,
Angry Hammer was, 50 or 100, yeah.
He goes, I need to apologize to Adam Lowy because he said that what's the guy's name at Arkansas? Fill me in.
Bobby Petrino.
He said, remember when Petrino got hired at A&M, and Lowy made a tweet that he's a better offensive coordinator than Sarkisian, and then that made it over to Orange Bloods. Remember how bad that was?
They wanted to cancel him. They wanted to cancel him.
See, Angry Amber jumped in and apologized 3-4 years later to Petrino for not, I was like, wow, that's where we are. People are resetting Adam Lowy's hot takes from 5 years ago and finally giving him his justice.
Man. And shout out to Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm for sponsoring the post-game show. As always, we appreciate it.
Victory lap right now because Texas won, so he's happy.
Yeah.
But Adam, I'd be retweeting my own stuff if I was him.
Jake, $5. Survive in advance, I guess. O-line is awful and Arch was real bad. Also, question for Chad. How does A&M Arkansas play the same game every year? LOL. Jake, just when those two teams get on a field, you just know you're signing up for wacky.
I keep hearing survive in advance.
They're never boring.
What? This team's not advancing anywhere, maybe to a bowl game.
You advance
You're not advancing the college football playoff. I guess you advance to another win without the season being completely off the table. But this is not survive in advance. It's survive until you get your head cut off.
It's survive until the third loss because it feels like it's coming. It's just wins the third loss.
There's a better chance that this team goes 8-4 right now or 7-5 than there is that it goes 9-3. Like,
I agree.
Tonight, the thing is, man, you can set your watch that the defense is probably going to be pretty good on most nights. I mean, this is the 6th out of 7th game where they've held the opponent under 14 or less points. But, the offense has sucked in almost every game. So it's like dominant on one side. And look, you can't just keep – Ryan Niblett not going to have 2 40-yard punt returns in every game. If he didn't tonight, they lose. If Colin Simmons doesn't have the best game of his career so far, they lose. If Anthony Hill doesn't have the best game of the season that he's had so far, they lose. It took a lot to go, as crazy as it sounds, it took a lot for Texas, a lot to go right, a lot of bounces to go right for Texas on a night when they couldn't fall on the ball because they overcame one of the worst offensive performances in the modern era of Texas offense. That's what tonight was. It was a historically bad performance, not against the TCUs of Gary Patterson from back in the day. This was a Kentucky team that came in tonight 85th in the country in run defense, and Texas didn't run the ball at all. Matter of fact, I don't think a Texas running back had more than an 8-yard carry all night.
Trey Wisner,
Christian
Clark, both of them each had an 8-yard run.
Yeah, maybe the most disappointing. There's a lot of disappointing things.
Way to go, Sark! That offense.
These were the two games, guys, where I wanted to find out who Sark thought the other guy was to run the ball. They didn't have one. Because after what Wisner did in Dallas, I thought, okay, build on that. But who's the other guy? Who's the guy that's going to spell him? Who's the other guy that you want to count on? Felt like it was Simon, as he talked about him last week. Did Simon get a carry tonight?
No.
Was he even in the game? I'm confused.
Wisner had 12 carries. Clark had 3.
I'm confused on the run game overall. Wait, hang on, Mr. Cheap Whiskey tonight. No Blantons tonight on War for Angry Hammer. He's going nothing but cheap. One, if Sark does say he's going to hire an OC, does he actually hire a productive one, or does he just hire a figurehead to satisfy the masses? Two, what OC would you throw a bank at?
He ain't hiring an OC.
Come on, that's just not gonna happen.
But he's going to be forced to go on the record and say some shit about being the offensive play caller, and that is going to be the entire theme going into next season because he will not give up play calling. But there's going to be an immense amount of pressure next year, an immense amount.
I mean, here's the deal. I mean, this is the issue is you already have Kyle Flood as your technical OC.
Oh, he
right?
could always say that. You're right. Yeah.
So he has a technical OC by title, right? So
hire a play caller.
Now what? So then what are you going to do? Hire a co offensive coordinator to be that, and then are you going to use one of your staffs? Stark's never going to give a play call and doing so. What? That's the thing. What do you do? If you already got someone who has the title of OC.
Yeah, I don't know, but I put my coaches in the booth. This ain't working.
I don't know that any offensive coordinator tonight would have looked good. If Arch Manning can't complete pretty simple passes,
Yeah, but Jason, that's looking at it in a vacuum. This is systematic issues that didn't start tonight. This was
I mean, we
not
go back to
the
last
team
year.
had
I
a
know.
bad game.
Yeah.
That's not what this was.
Yeah, you're right.
Hammer, thank you for that 20 spot. We appreciate you. Let's dive back in here. Uke Dean, $4.99. Why does Sark yet again refuse to kick field goals twice inside the 40? And when do we stop pretending Arch is good? This team isn't half what it was. I didn't think there was a couple of field goals. There was a long field goal he passed on.
56. I think the other was about
yeah,
the same.
I wouldn't worry about that part. The Arch part's interesting. The Arch part is interesting.
Let me ask.
Hey, Catch. Hold on. Just hold it for a second. I'm looking online real quick. Okay. Yes, they've got Mike Beaumonte listed as the co-passing game coordinator. They have Kyle Flood listed as the offensive coordinator. They have Chris Jackson listed as the passing game coordinator. They have AJ Milwee listed as the co-offensive coordinator. They've got guys who are listed as guys for these. They've got two passing game coordinators, an offensive coordinator, and a co-offensive coordinator.
Those are just titles for the guys' resumes and to give them money.
That's to get them raises, right? In general.
Facts. Yeah. Now, if you're actually asking for someone who of whatever that you think, like I think Sark will say, "Well, I've already got a bunch of dudes." Oops, sorry, knock this out.
Hey, Onward, can you hear me?
I've got guys. So, like, what more do you want me to have? All I got to be just execute. We'll be fine. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Here's the deal, and I'll just say this: it won't be, so we're clear. It won't be OB per se. It won't be social media. It will be if those people go to Kevin Eltife and say, "Kev, this is some bullshit. You need to tell me what's going on," because ultimately Eltife is the guy that hired him, and Eltife is the guy that runs the athletic department. Now, if shit goes south, then it'll be Chris Connie. That's the guy that runs that, and everyone will take a step back, and Chris will take all the bullets, right? But everybody will have to go to Eltife and say, "Kev, what the F is going on here, and how do you plan to fix it?"
All right, back to the super chats. Matty Ice, $9.99. On a serious note, I think, come on now.
Hey, real quick, I'll just skip over that. How far? What if somebody has to be made a sacrificial lamb when the season is over? Your gut instinct tells you Sark would go how far on a sacrificial lamb? Let's say they go 7-5, just to set the parameters. It's that bad of a season. Sharks are swimming in bloody water. What would he be willing to do?
To sacrifice? It'd be someone from the offensive side of the ball, I would say. I think it would be that. Defense. The defense is solid, and so it's hard to make a change over there. It would have to be. It'd be a move that I don't think it would move anyone's needle or satisfy anyone. I just think he would get. I think he would. Someone from the offensive staff would be the one who suffers. I couldn't tell you which one.
You don't think it'd be Kyle Flood, though?
It's only 1 year. I think that's the issue. Like, I think the issue is because all this stuff becomes explainable in your head, right? Because then you can go back to, because there's just two things, right? You can say, well, they lost guys to the NFL, but then they can say, well, you know what? We did lose guys to the NFL. And so this was a growth year, development year for a lot of these guys who were thrown in the fire. And then I think it's easy to justify in your mind. You could say overall, he's recruited really well. Look at the guys that they put in the league. And this is just an off year for them. I don't know if Kyle Flood ends up being a sacrificial lamb, but I also don't believe that you can return this entire staff. Now, here's the other thing, Catch. You could encourage some guys to leave to make your life easier so you don't actually have to off them. But I think the only guy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only guy Sark has ever parted ways with has been Andre Coleman since he's been here.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he might be the only one that Sark like got rid
there's
of.
been a couple of guys that, like I think not Tashard Choice, but Brendan Marion.
Brendan Marion. But he didn't tell Brendan to
go.
leave. Yeah, but he didn't flat out say, I don't care if you have a job or not, you're out.
So
I don't think Brendan felt the love though.
Would he go a little bit of offense and a little bit of front office and go Milwee and Harris? Is that
I mean, how do you get rid of what do you do with Milwee? Like, what is I mean,
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like,
See, Chad, the issue is, and this is where it's tough, which is if Sark's the play caller and he's basically the offensive coordinator, then who do you point the finger at? Especially if you're not willing to say like you think it's all on you. Well, then you're going to automatically say, well, it's just these guys that need to be developed and we have to do these things. Now, I think the bigger challenge more so than anything else is probably from a business standpoint. When you spent this much on a roster, I think Sark's biggest thing is going in the off season. And when you're starting to like say, hey, well, we need another round of NIL, I think you're going to have some folks saying, you know how much we gave you this past year for these results? How can you guarantee these guys deserve any more than what they're receiving right now? I don't know if if you're a booster and you're a big time guy, you probably say some of these guys deserve pay cuts. If you're being quite honest with you, like why would you, instead of saying they need to come in and get more money after the season, you can say shit, we need to dock some pay right about now and save some money because they're not putting up the results.
You know what's interesting though? I think behind the scenes, the money guys were telling Sark, we'll do what you want us to. Like, if you tell us you need a guy, we'll go get a guy. Because I've talked to people, and they're like, the money was there. If Sark, the one thing I feel like the Board of Regents and the money people have done a good job of, and it started with Charlie. Because they knew they were going to fire that guy after 3 years, and like they had to make it look like they gave him everything. Hey man, you want an offensive coordinator? We'll go to Tulsa and we'll send the president of the school there to argue on your this has been a program in the last decade has basically told its head coach, whatever you want, we'll give you, because at the end of the day, what we will not allow for is you to say we didn't give you enough resources. We were cheap. We somehow skimped and like left you in a position where you were short. It was the opposite. I know people that cut checks that were very pro. Let's go to the portal and get offensive linemen. Why is Texas not getting speed at receiver? I know people that wanted to go after the Concepcion kid at A&M. There was a thirst to do more, and they didn't because Sark told them not to. Sark said, this is what I want you to do. Brandon Harris facilitated everything that Steve Sarkisian wanted. Whatever Sark wanted, to Brandon Harris's credit, he facilitated. Ultimately, though, all of the decision-making goes back to Sark, and I've talked to people, and I don't hear a lot of excuses being made. I talked to a lot of people who are saying, this doesn't look good, and we know how this happened. We know that Brandon Harris – I had somebody this week say, look, man, Brandon Harris might be made the fall guy when the season's over because there has to be blood potentially, but it's not his fault. And the program would be weaker if you took him out of it. But does Texas have a person in the program whose voice is so powerful that they can go to Sark and say, we need to do this. Forget about feelings. We need to improve the personnel on this team. Do they have anybody that Sark would go, you know what, your voice matters more than anybody's? I don't think so, because at the end of the day, Sark deferred to his position coaches. His position coaches were like, I think we're good. And Sark was like, to all of the other voices that were telling him, go to the portal and get some more guys, Sark said, "No, we're good. We're good. My guys think we're good." And it is I can't even watch this team on offense from drive to drive without forgetting all of this is a Steve Sarkisian production. And even in the fall, he showed no signs that he had any reason to be concerned about the offense. What was he seeing? What were they seeing in practice that was so different than this? Because we've seen it for 7 games now. This isn't good. Sark would have us believe that against one of the best defenses in the country, he somehow saw this group do something else. And it just doesn't intellectually add up.
But yes, it does. I can explain it to you. Catch, you're a former big guy. I know you're sexy slim right about now, but you're a former big guy. You know, sometimes big guys might look in the mirror and say to themselves, "Damn, look at me. I look good. I look slim in this outfit, right? Look at me, man. Yeah, I'm sexy today, right? And you might be sexy in your own right until you go out and you're like, oh damn, there's a lot of buff guys at this bar here today. Oh, okay. But so you can see the things that you want to see, and I think the things that they saw. By the way, you know what may have helped a little bit, Catch? Can I just throw this out there? A spring game. Like the whole we don't need a spring game. We don't need to do all of those kind of things, right? Well, you know what? Maybe if you saw one and you got to put guys in the stadium, you know, in front of a crowd, you might have seen something that said to yourself, you know what? Maybe we need to do a little bit more. But you had your practices in your confinement areas, and then you told yourself, walked out of that and said, we're good. Maybe if you did something as simple as that, you would have walked out of there saying, hey guys, I know it's supposed to be just technically one practice. I don't really like what we saw. And you would have probably had more people telling you these things as well. But, you know, you hide everything behind closed doors. And then, you know, you don't have to have any kind of accountability. I'll just go to that. So I think you see what you want to see. They convinced themselves that these receivers were going to be amazing. The incoming freshmen were going to be fantastic, but the receivers they had on the roster were so good. We don't really even need anybody in the portal. Like, I guess we'll take this Mosley guy, but overall we're going to be good and we're straight. They convinced themselves that this offensive line was going to be really, really good, and it's not, you know, but they convinced themselves of it. They told themselves we're going to be good. And in fact, they told themselves we might be better than been before. They convinced themselves, Catch. One of the biggest problems and the biggest sins is that they convinced themselves that they were at a plug and play program, and they weren't. Or if they are or trying to be there, then whatever the development that needed to occur in the offseason, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because it happened on defense, whatever the development that needed to occur, it did not. And now they're in scramble mode while they're just trying to be efficient with the offense. But at the end of the day, like Jason says, you're 7 games in. You are who you are. Like, that shit's not going to change.
Yep. All right. I'm staring at 31 super chats. Anwar, I'm going to get through these. If they kick you guys out or you need to roll, you let us know. 31.
I'll just work while you're doing that.
Oh, okay. You do what you do. I just, you know, hey, I don't know how they do stuff in Kentucky. It's late night and there's whiskey flowing. So I'm just, you know, Chris, $5. Say what you want about Sark, the play designer, but he is less than worthless offensive coordinator. He will never, ever be a champion as a head coach / offensive coordinator. Chris.
He's been a champion as an OC. But...
yeah, so he's the slash, though. The head coach, offensive coordinator. He says he's not going to win one that way. This is just a preach, Jason. So somebody.
Jason?
Just when I was on my rant earlier.
There you go. Just a preach for Jason. All right. Got that. $4.99 from Darkborg. Sorry, Sukamel. 0 chance we hear anything but coach speak. Yep. Half the SEC lost, and what courage our boys played. FFS. Still can't believe you went with the half. Went with the SEC math. $4.99 from Mr. Reyna. We're going to have to do everything to keep these 5 stars from transferring this offseason. Interesting thought.
I think they might be okay with a few of those guys. Let's just call it out. Like,
Might open up money for someone else. Yeah, so.
those guys, those 5-star guys are making probably between about 600 and $1 million a year, like 600,000 to $1 million, depending on the guy. I don't think they quite went that high for the receivers. I know French didn't quite get that much money, but those guys aren't. To me, those guys aren't good because they can't get on.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. You can't. They can go in the transfer portal. And they're going to earn less money,
right?
Because they sat in the bench for a year.
But guys make bad decisions all the time. Correct. You need to hope that you can coax a couple of these guys into bad decisions, because if you can't be in the top 6 or 7 of this wide receiver group, then you don't need to be at Texas. I don't care what age you are. Ryan Wingo's not even that good, but he got his ass on the field last year on a good team. These guys can't. And I can't believe we're not at a place where Sark's been like, to hell with it. Throw some of them out there. Like, those dudes must be terrible.
Yeah, it's great. By the way, if you see a $50 super chat or more, you mark that. Yeah, you keep it marked for the big fish.
For those
$4.99 for Corey. Sark needs to own this and use this as fuel to get this ship turned around. This is not a championship. It's not championship football. Where do we go from here? Where we go from here depends on him. Corey, I would agree with that. Some accountability would probably couldn't hurt.
I feel like Saban would have blamed himself for tonight. And he would have said a lot of the same things that Sark said.
Yeah.
But he would have basically been like, I dare you to say something about me. It's my fault.
I know it's the enemy side, guys, but one guy that I always enjoyed, usually the way he ate a loss, was Bob Stoops. Yeah. Bob Stoops would normally start a losing press conference with coach's fault, bad coaching, we didn't prepare them, and catch your dead on about Saban. Saban would absolutely have taken a lot of this.
I just think people are asking. I just think people are asking him to be something that he's not.
Yeah.
You know, for all the stuff that maybe Quinn may have struggled with over the past couple of years, he never came out and said like, "Hey, that's on me." It was, you know, the last couple. Yeah, what was that? There's some excitement. Yeah. Is that at the car house?
Somebody just won some at the car house. Well done. Well done.
Okay. Congrats. I'm glad someone's enjoying
Somebody
their
hit. Somebody hit.
That was not a reaction to anything that happened with the Texas offense tonight.
No. That was a different kind of flop that went well. That went really well. That's what that was. All right. Jason's favorite name jumping back in. FB79, $5. Coach, oh, come on now. Accepts no accountability. His hubris will be his undoing at Texas. I am not going to say your new nickname for Sark. I'm not doing that. MB for 2, who's the next Alan Clark of O-line coaches.
I don't know what that means, like someone who's specific to like tackle or just like super aggressive young
to
recruiter,
help out,
probably, maybe.
By the way, somebody checking in, trying to find someone to blame, and maybe it's Catch. $1.99 did Catch not eat the enchiladas this week. How dare you catch the wave? He did eat the enchiladas.
I'm the reason why Texas won the game.
He's the reason they held on, because Catch ate those enchiladas.
If you don't eat the enchiladas and make that tweet last week about Niblet, we don't get either of those punt returns. Texas loses.
That's right. Catch is doing all he can.
He's doing Ryan Niblet in the first team All SEC punt returner.
That's right.
Well, he might be an All-American if he keeps this up. Yeah.
Catch is doing all he can do. $4.99. Arthur, if this is happening in practice, I wonder if there's eye rolling and checking out on the team. Offense beyond inept. You got to wonder what that practice is looking like, to Catch's point earlier. $4.99 from Matthew. Make PK head coach and find a great OC. Arch is just pretty bad at quarterback. Benefit of the doubt.
I don't think PK would ever want to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't strike.
I don't think he'd be like, wait,
coach
that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
By the way, like, who the hell's giving Arch benefit of the doubt? Like, aren't we just going week to week with everybody?
Yeah, I would think.
Let me ask you this.
I missed some bad stuff tonight from
Arch is not a good quarterback. Is Arch an average quarterback collectively over 7 games? I don't think so.
Not the worst. I mean,
is he going to get to average this year? Next year, is he ever going to get to good? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I would label it right now.
There's just no way to get around the fact that And again, I just keep going back to this is Sark's. Look, Anwar and I were very concerned about this the day that Arch Manning showed up on campus. Good or bad, whatever happens with Arch Manning will be on Steve Sarkisian's coaching tombstone. It will either be the thing that he's remembered for because they accomplished great things, or when Sark, this will be the lasting legacy for him that people will talk about. Fucked up Arch Manning, like it has to come good.
Right.
Arch can't transfer. He can't look. And here's the other thing: people keep talking about Arch being benched. The thing is, maybe if that had helped Quinn Ewers last year, maybe Sark would be willing to maybe dabble with that a little bit because Arch had completed 1 out of 10 passes or something like that at some point, but he regretted benching Quinn as soon as he did it. And it shook Quinn. I don't know that he was quite ever the same again. And I think he pretty much admitted, if I had to do all over again, I wish I hadn't done it. I'm telling you, it will be at a last resort before he benches Arch Manning because the implications of that are it's in the A block on First Take in the second hour of the show. And Stephen A. Smith will come out and he'll be like, hey, I like Steve Sarkisian, but he has ruined Arch Manning. And it just that, it has to work or this thing will fall apart. I don't think there's a world out there where because Arch is going to be the quarterback. If this doesn't work out, if Arch never gets really good, I think it might be the last quarterback that Steve Sarkisian ever coaches at Texas. Seriously.
And it would be no amount of takes by Colin Cowherd that will be able to reverse that for him.
Like that 20 spot from
because
Tim.
that's the biggest defender.
Yeah.
That's the biggest guy.
Right.
Always is just the biggest love. That's his clearly have a good relationship.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's a great comment. Tim, thank you for the $19.99, throwing something in the old tip jar. We appreciate that. JR, $19.99. Arbuckle year one has an offense that can move the ball with half of the star power. Oklahoma definitely had an effective day today, both sides of the ball.
Threw for 100. They ran the ball well. Mateer ran the ball or threw for 150 today. So
were they efficient? I'm sorry.
They were.
Sorry.
They were fairly efficient.
I shouldn't have asked. I shouldn't have used the E word.
But did they win just like Texas? And that's what Sark would tell you.
Hey, Anwar, half the conference won, Anwar. Texas and OU, both in that half.
Guess what? I hate to tell you this. In games, one half is going to win, another half is going to lose. This is weird.
They literally eliminated ties on War. That cannot mathematically happen.
Oh, really? No ties in college anymore. Interesting. Okay. $20 from Michael. How do we reconcile this? Kentucky looked better on offense for 60 minutes convincingly. What? Michael, that is the shock of this game. The biggest shock would have been Kentucky winning the game. Texas found a way to do that. But every one of those stats, Mark Stoops is going to stare at that box score for an hour straight tonight and not be able to sleep. How did all that happen? And my
punt returns.
And my team couldn't figure it out. That's crazy.
Special teams.
To win going forward, we have to bench Arch. See, that's just I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know that the team would be any worse with Caldwell out there.
Catch makes an interesting point, though. And Anwar, you watched it live in the stadium when it happened last year, too. That move last year, it shook everybody. And I think Arch is one of them. Sark ends up being part of who got shook. I think he's stuck.
Yeah, keep pushing through those super chats.
Yeah, exactly.
Chat, keep pushing.
All right, $2. 1, replace the entire O-line and quarterback. 2, appreciate Quinn. Oh wow, we're to that. Okay, all right, it's an appreciate.
Well, of course of course you have to at this moment.
Got to do that, right? Sure. Looking for everything you can after a game like that. Mike for 10. Sark will die on the hill that he is the OC. Period. Mike, I think that is probably true. A 199er.
The second consecutive game, Quinn wouldn't have survived this game. He's just Arch sucked, and Quinn probably would have been better than couldn't be much worse.
Probably.
But like Arch took another beating tonight, and like
He got
the
popped
thing
on
that
one hit. Yeah.
the thing that they're risking is that Arch won't survive the season. That if every
Does it
week,
change the season though? I mean, I hate to say it, and I don't want Arch to get injured, but does it change the season much? If
well, not now because they're probably not going to the playoffs anyway. So it might expedite 7-5 or 8-4 faster, but they might go 7-5 or 8-4 anyway. Boy, they got to get a lot better before Diego Pavia comes to town.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, just getting through these. We saw that one from Michael. Thank you. Intellectually challenged. Okay. This is Noki. I think Nikki. Sorry, my bad.
Nikki.
$9.99. I just don't understand. Run the play, fail and repeat and fail again. I can get behind the young players and development, but my God, the coaching. Nikki with the emoji that is a drinking glass. I think a lot of people were probably doing a little bit of that tonight, or a lot. $4.99 is the kind of shiz that will break up a happy home. Fugly from Barb's 10. Good to see you at the watch party, Barb's 10. Brian with a $4.99, almost Kansas 2.0. Oh, I thought of that game too. This team's specialty is to make bad teams look good. Sark has been an average at best coach this year. 10 million plus for average. Brian, thank you for that super chat. $4.99 from Michelle catches Enchilada sister. Enchiladas are the only reason we won. Sark better add us to the payroll. He effing owes all of OB, and I still want my gold hat. Michelle, we hope you have a great evening, enchiladas or otherwise. $4.99 from Michael. The offense is indefensible. If Sark can't admit his shortcomings and own incompetency, he needs to be fired. End of story. Michael looking for some accountability from Sark. We've been discussing that also. Michael, $4.99. Wasn't pretty, won't be a popular, but winning is winning, whether by
Not
an
this
inch
week.
or a mile.
Not this week, Michael.
Yeah.
This showed us a lot about this.
And it is better than if they lost, but that's, that's an
Was
obvious.
tonight worse than the Wyoming home game?
That was like week 2 or something in the season, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was 10-10 tied going into the fourth quarter
But-
against Wyoming at home.
Yeah, but wasn't that after like Alabama though?
I think it was. Didn't it end though like 28-10, 21-10? Didn't it end with a little more distance? I think this was worse because of just how close it came. Catch, to your point, I agree with you. Like if Kentucky gets in there, they're going to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, they're 6 inches from winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, Wyoming wasn't that close to winning like Kentucky was tonight. So I think it was
Wyoming at home versus Kentucky.
It was, yeah. But the game itself, I'd say
one's a Power 4 team and the other's Wyoming. So but I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, we got that.
And one's Kentucky, and that's the other part too. So like, I think what
really
year was that? Was that
basketball.
23? Was that 23 or 21? What year was that? Was that 23?
23, I think.
Yeah,
I believe that was a 23.
Yeah, but you got to remember Wyoming. See, catch the thing is Wyoming was the week after they went to Alabama and beat them 34-24. So when you do that, it's easier to accept it because you're still riding high.
In a vacuum, was it the performance? I bring it up because they went to the playoffs. So like
the performance was worse for me. Yeah, I thought it was worse
because at least you can say Quinn had that Bama game where he looked great. Like Arch hasn't really had a game like that this year.
This is funny.
This is good. $4.99 from Michael. Told my son when I die, he can say at my funeral, I would have lived 2 more years, but the Kentucky game took 2 years off my life. Michael, we needed that smile tonight. Thank you.
From Tom G.
Thank you very much.
Scroll.
Okay. Little Tom G jumping in. There's Tom G. All right. 20 from Tom G. What pisses me off the most is I'm going to lose $3K on Prize Picks because of Arch is not going to hit 3K passing yards. I'm killing the rest of the picks for the year.
Tom G, I'm a much smaller fish than you, but I'm the same way. But mine, I hate to admit it, is on Mateer's passing yards because that damn injury.
Yeah, that's not good. put yourself in a prize pick situation where you need an Oklahoma quarterback to do something.
That's the only reason I've been watching them so close.
Come on, Jason.
I lost my ass on prize picks today.
1999 from Heath. Remember what I said last week? Anwar, Sark is reading a script and it makes me sick every week. Quote, we're going to play our brand of football. Evidently, that means being a trash team. Wow.
Damn.
Man, Heath is
not
happy tonight. Heath, we hope you have a good one and drink whatever you need to, or maybe not. Michael, $4.99. Arch didn't play well for sure, but now much of this falls on the O-line. At some point, dudes weren't even getting touched when the ball was snapped.
It's a horrible combination when you have a bad offensive lineman and a quarterback who is very inconsistent with his accuracy. But, I mean, even when he was protected, Arch made some terrible throws. So, plenty of fault to go around.
It is everything. It took a village. It took a village to win 16-13 in overtime when it felt like you should have lost the thing. $3 from Thomas. We got our own Jimbo Fisher. Wow. I'm just going to kind of leave that there.
But real quick, Chad, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is why Sark – like, I know sometimes – well, people are just like, oh, catch Monday morning quarterback. Well, it's technically still Saturday night. You know, this is what you do. You want to start trouble. You want to poke the hornet's nest. And in reality, it's the last thing I want to do. When I say that this is what Sark should have done, that's not me saying that I would be a better head coach. That's not me saying that he doesn't know what he's doing. What it's me saying is I know I have covered this beat on every level since I was a student in 1994. I know this fan base. I know what it responds to. I know what it doesn't. I know what it demands from its head coach. And, like, Sark's just got to be careful, man. Like, this place is unforgiving. And I don't think Sark will like being questioned, but he's really close to entering a new era of his at Texas where, like, everything he does is questioned. And
I'm sorry, Catch. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In order to avoid that, you almost have to beat everybody to the punch and say, it's my fault. Hey, I'm in charge of the offense. I'm in charge of the quarterbacks. I'm in charge of our players knowing that they should fucking stay on sides when they come out on the punt team after timeouts. It's my fault that the player didn't know to fall down inbounds to run out the clock when we never go to overtime. Like, he just has to know, man, you ain't got to say that to the players, but the players need to hear you say, it's my fault. And then when you get them in front of a room, you can read them the riot act because they know, oh, man, he ate that. And it was not all Sark's fault. But if I was a player, if I was a defensive player today, and I heard that, like, because they know nobody's more frustrated that they didn't fall on a ball than the guys on that defense. But the last goddamn thing I'd want to hear from is if I was a defensive player is anybody on offense saying anything. Keep your mouth. We know what we have to do. Do you even know what you guys – can you tie your shoes? Like, the thing you got to be careful with is that Sark's got to hold this team together, and I just think the best way to do that is to take you're making $11 million a year, man. Just throw yourself under the bus, whether it's earned or not. And the fans would seriously be like, hey, I respect the shit out of Sark for saying that. Like, that's real.
Yeah,
but instead, it's not. That's not what we've got now, and I'm afraid that a forest fire may be breaking out.
Yeah, all right, I can see the finish line on these super chats. Here we go. $1.99 on Bodie. PK needs a raise for bailing Sark out again. Love for the defense, and obviously,
how about no more raises for this? No more.
Yeah, maybe no more.
Ain't gonna have to worry about that after this year.
$4.99 from Blake. Do you think Sark is more self-aware behind the scenes?
Yes. I don't think some of the things he said, Anwar said he said in the press conference, I don't think there's any way Sark believes that.
Yeah, you would hope so. $4.99 from Okie Day. Both field goals were inside the 40-yard line at the 38 and 37. Felt like the play calls overall were horrible tonight. Again, horrible art showing.
Did the Texas offense get inside the 30 before overtime other than the punt return that Niblett set them up at the 8 or whatever it was?
I don't think so.
I'd have to look at the drives, but I don't.
Not that I recall.
Yeah.
No, not that I recall, which maybe made those field goals feel even longer. I thought maybe they should have tried one of them. Okie didn't. I wouldn't have tried both of them, but maybe one. I didn't think that was the issue tonight of not trusting your kicker or whatever it was. Mike, $4.99 on a lighter note. Who's having a worse night, Texas football fans or Tennessee football / baseball fans? All right.
I mean, Tennessee didn't have a laughable, shameful performance tonight. They just lost on the road to a better team.
What is Tennessee?
Although that almost happened tonight. Texas almost went on the road and lost to a team that was better than them.
Yeah, I guess they're referencing back to the baseball season. I
Guess
don't know.
so.
Yeah.
Well, Tennessee lost its head baseball coach today, or they're about to.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that.
I
My
didn't know
bad.
that.
Didn't
Okay.
see that story. Last one here.
Chad, you didn't see that? That dude's going to the Giants.
A 10.
Oh, I did see that,
okay.
actually.
All right.
Yes.
Going to the bigs. All right. $10. What did Neto do? Oh, good. All the way back. Circle back around to the offensive line.
I mean, what did he do that's keeping off the field?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
He didn't do anything on the field.
Who does he have pictures of or whatever?
It rhymes with milled jive cookers.
No, it didn't happen. That did not happen. All right. Shout out to the
No,
Lowy
because
Law
they'd have
Firm.
played him if
sponsoring
that was it. Oh, he just
Shout out-
killed a couple of people.
Shout out to TCH Social Austin for having us out. Shout out to Specs for bringing us the Specs chat, of course. Gentlemen, final words. Anwar, we'll let you start since you got to get out of that press box. Final words on this one.
Okay, thank you. It's bad. I mean, where Texas is at, and they've got Mississippi State on the road. Look, Mississippi State can score some points. You can look at any of the team. You can look at that team and say, well, they're not that good, and I can look at Texas and say the exact same thing. Like, I think we're beyond the point of you're sitting on some sort of high horse, about this program and where they're at, and so it's disappointing. It's going to be one of the more, if they don't somehow pull out some sort of miracle. And look, the thing that Sark has that he can cling to right now is that they're 2-1 in the SEC. They still have some time left. Like, things will cannibalize each other. And look, shit. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago where Texas barely beat Houston. Right? You remember that game? And you were like, oh my God, like, I don't know what this thing is going to look like. And Texas still somehow, figured it out and made it there. So there's still a part of Sark that can go to, like, we can just figure this out together. And sometimes it just might be better to be lucky than good, because they're not necessarily that good right now. So if they're just lucky, then maybe he'll just take luck as far as he can. But I think luck will run out very soon. Whether it's Vanderbilt, whether it's Georgia on the road, whether it's A&M at home, like, he's going to have to figure out something. Like, whatever they did against Oklahoma, they're going to have to figure out how to replicate. It's in a bad situation. But I can see how Sark is still going to feel like he's got some hope. He's going to come there on Monday and he's going to talk about how that was a tough Kentucky team, and he's going to give you all this. He's going to pump them up and all these kind of things. And but I think we're seeing the warning signs here, and this 9-3 seems like a dream. 8-4 seems more realistic. Anything less than that, no matter what, you don't make the playoffs. And last thing I'll say is this before my laptop dies: when you lose against Florida, you barely beat Kentucky, you still don't really have a quality win, and then you've got Vanderbilt that just beat LSU, you've got Georgia, you got A&M. Doesn't look like a team that's hitting their stride going into the meat of their season.
Anwar, we appreciate it as always. We'll let you roll, man. Safe travels.
Right, take care, guys.
Anwar Richardson on the last bits of that laptop battery. We appreciate his great work. Jason, your final thoughts on 16-13 overtime?
Win looks nice on, just from a win-loss perspective, but this is an embarrassing performance by the Texas offense. I mean, Omar just kind of talked about some of the games. I don't see Texas beating Vanderbilt. I don't see them beating Georgia, certainly. I don't see them beating Texas A&M. Wouldn't be surprised if they lost to Arkansas or even Mississippi State. I mean, this to me feels like a 7-5 team. I think 8-4 might be the ceiling, Chad. I mean, 6-6, 7-5, I think are possibilities. I think 8-4 is probably the ceiling. And this is from a guy who last week tried to talk myself into buying in after the Oklahoma game. I think that was a mirage. I don't think Oklahoma's that good, first off. But yeah, I think this is an embarrassing offensive performance. I don't like what Sark's comment about 8 teams lost and then, hey, pounding the table. We got to win. We're 2-1. Well, you should be celebrating 2-1 anyways. You beat Kentucky. Oklahoma wins okay. I guess he lost to Florida, who's wretched. So I don't know. Just not a whole lot to hang your hat on coming out of this one.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch that pounding the table moment, and maybe I'm going to ask myself: are you trying to convince the media, Sark, or are you trying to convince yourself?
Yeah, real quick. There's a answer this real quick.
Real quick here.
Chat, but,
one more super.
I just put it up there.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. $5 super chat. Is there going to be a Sunday show? It's shown up the past few weeks and then goes away. Catch.
Yeah. The plan is, yes, I would look for it midday.
There you go. There will be a Sunday show tomorrow, so be ready to check that out. Jeff Ketchum will give you the final word tonight.
I mean, I guess I'll try to be an attempted voice of reason, but maybe it's just excuse making. I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes there's a thin, blurry line between those two things. I did not expect tonight to be a romp. I didn't expect the night to be this, but I had no real feeling that, I mean, I didn't think the Texas offense was going to score more than 3 touchdowns. I was kind of lukewarm on what my expectations were. I just thought Kentucky was so poor that Texas would do enough, but I kind of anticipated, and Chad, you and I, we did shows all week long. Like I had a little bit of a vibe that, man, we'll probably do the show on Saturday night. And I don't know that I think the vibe might be a little bit different. So not all of tonight was completely unexpected, even if the guts of it really were. But if you told me on yesterday that we would see a tie ball game in the fourth quarter, I wouldn't have been shocked. And what I told people all week long who were like, well, if that happens, it's a bad sign. I said, maybe. This team is very young. And I'm not trying to automatically make excuses. Sometimes an excuse is just the reason why something happens. But this team has 26 combined seniors and juniors and grad seniors on this team. You add up all the grad seniors, all of the regular seniors, and all of the juniors. Texas has 26 upperclassmen. Vanderbilt will come to Austin in a couple of weeks with that many grad seniors. Forget about regular seniors and forget about their junior class. They'll bring that many grad seniors to the table. And I feel like, if Texas eventually gets over a little bit of a baby hump, it'll be moments like this that help them do that. I've always thought that Arch would have another stinker on the road. The question was always going to be, will Texas play good enough on defense to overcome an atrocious Arch game? And I've done shows for weeks now where I've said, I know he's playing pretty good, but I expect another bad game at some point. And he might have another one. And I think Jason's right. I think this is a mid team with mid personnel on offense, mid coaching right now. It probably is a 7-5 or an 8-4 team. And maybe the thing that, if we can kind of come to grips with that, then maybe how this season ends is the most important thing. Can it end where it feels like they've got momentum? Can anything happen if they don't make the playoffs? And I just feel like that's a long shot. If they don't, can they at least end it in a way that they've got a story to tell going into the offseason? Because I almost have my mind on 2026 as much as 2025 right now. And so much has to happen in order for 2026 to be a much different year than this year. And, some positive energy, some good vibes wouldn't be a terrible thing to have. I think everybody's got to remember they did win tonight, but so much more has to get better. And My gut tells me they'll come out next week and play a better game against Mississippi State than they did tonight, maybe a much better game. But the thing that we can't do is every time they play a halfway decent game, all of a sudden forget that they're probably 60 minutes away from another bad game or another sketchy game or a game that they could rightfully lose. I think everybody's expecting dominance, and now we just got to get it through our thick skulls. This team is going to dominate anybody the rest of the season. That's not who they are. And if they can just scratch out some wins like this the rest of the way, it might be the only way to salvage 7-5 and 8-4. Like this. I feel like deep down, you're like watching Platoon and somebody gets shot in the throat, but they're still living, or they get shot in the chest, or like you see a guy in a movie and he's missing 2 legs, and you're like, there's no doctors in the jungle. And you just realize, like, oh, he's alive, but his legs are missing. Lieutenant Dan's not going to make it. Sometimes Lieutenant Dan will make it. Sometimes Lieutenant Dan just dies in the jungle. This Texas team feels like an outfit that's going to die in the jungle, and I think we all know it. I think we know they lost a leg and they're bleeding out, and doctors aren't nearby, and it might not be next week. It might not even be Vanderbilt. But this season's going to end up short of where everybody thought it needed to be. I think just everybody needs to really prepare. I think last week we convinced ourselves that it might not be the case. I think this week you can be an eternal optimist and still admit it's unlikely that this team makes the playoffs.
Thanks to over 1,000 of you that are still in that Specs chat. Let's get a little love from Specs before we say goodbye.
Our famous pies have arrived, and they're out of this world. Specs, cheers to savings.
All right, next week, Texas, Mississippi State, an afternoon kick. It's either like a 2:30 or a 3:15, one of those. Come out to TC8 Social Austin and check out the game with us. Have some bad beat bacon. It does make the offense look a little bit better. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. Check out all the content during the week and check out that Sunday show with Catch tomorrow, further talking about what happened tonight. Texas gets the win. They are 5-2, 16-13 in overtime. They are in the half of the SEC that won this week. That's a fact.